In this video, we're going to break down my thoughts on Season 4 of Cobra Kai. Let's go. Welcome back to the Old Head Review channel. I'm your host, Joey Sparks. That's 2 E's. Know why? You heard me. That's 2 E's. Know why? In today's video, we're going to break down Season 4 of Cobra Kai. Shout out to me having the flyest t-shirt plug of all time, right? A little bit of Street Fighter mixed with Karate Kid. Classic fight at the All Valley tournament. You heard? All right, let's get into this. But before we get started, I'm gonna need you to strike first, strike hard, no mercy on that like button. And if you could give a crane kick to that subscribe button, both those things will help me. Boom. And just like that, Season 4 of Cobra Kai has been released on Netflix. All 10 episodes. They're running about a half hour a piece. I was able to sit down, get it watched, and now I'm about to give you my overall opinion on the series. First things first, Karate Kid. Original 1, 2, and 3. I grew up on that stuff. Old head. I grew up in the 80s. I watched all that stuff. So definitely up there in some of my favorite 80s cinema. Not for like extreme action techniques or great filming stuff. It was just a good story. Now, obviously, Karate Kid, the OG, is a classic, right? And in my opinion, this is one of the more powerful sequels that came out with Karate Kid 2 when they went over to Okinawa. Karate Kid 3, let's be honest, it wasn't the best. Trust me, pales in comparison. But let's dive into Season 4. At the end of Season 3, we left off with a head-to-head matchup for the All Valley Karate Tournament, and whoever won, the other dojos had to quit. So you had Cobra Kai, which is now being led by John Kreese. And then you had Daniel LaRusso running the Miyagi-Do, which actually teamed up with Eagle Fang, that was led by Johnny. So Johnny and Danny were supposed to team up and they were going to work to take out Cobra Kai and get them out of the town, right? Well, initially when the season starts off, Danny and Johnny, they don't get along so well. Their main conflict is how the other one views the other's discipline, right? Like, Daniel-san's Miyagi-Do training kind of runs off defense, but Johnny says there are times where you need to bring on offense. But by the end of the series, they both realize that there could be good parts in both. All the while, we also left off at Season 3 with John Kreese making a call to his old buddy, Terry Silver. Now, Terry Silver was the main bad guy in Karate Kid 3 in the OG trilogy. A war veteran buddy with John Kreese, and while John Kreese was down and out, Terry Silver was going to recruit Daniel-san and terrorize his life. But at this moment in time, Terry Silver's doing different with his life. He's kind of focused on just being a businessman and living his life without any of that angst he had back in the day. Well, of course, John Kreese shows up and finds a way to pull it out of him. Before you know it, the two together are teamed up to lead Cobra Kai to victory at the All Valley Karate Tournament. We do introduce a new set of characters that bring on some conflict, which is Kenny, who's new to the school, and then Daniel's son. I couldn't help it, man. It was there. Sorry. Puns are funny. So this is a new conflict brought in, and then Kenny eventually gets bullied a bunch by Daniel's son, Anthony LaRusso, and then ultimately, I think they're going to be the conflict that pushes forward in Season 5, or a new conflict that takes up a lot of Season 5. We also have the continued beef between Tory and Samantha LaRusso. At the beginning of the season, Mrs. LaRusso stops off at Tory's work, tells her to leave her daughter alone, and in the process ends up getting Tory fired. And then when the season gets to the end, it basically comes down a match between Samantha LaRusso and Tory, and Eli, who is now back to Miyagi-Do, versus Robby. Robby and Eli showdown, and Eli ends up getting the best of Robby and becomes the victor in the men's category, while Samantha loses to Tory in the final women's fight. With Tory winning the final women's fight, it made Cobra Kai the victors, and that means that Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do had to quit. Their victory is short-lived because Tory ends up noticing that Terry paid off the ref. So it really kind of cheapens their victory. But for us at home viewing, it means that they didn't really win. And at the end, Terry ends up setting up John Kreese for the beatdown of Stingray and sends him to jail while Terry's going to take over and create a chain of Cobra Kai dojos and be the new main villain in my head for season 5. Man, I really enjoyed this. Here are some of the things I guess I could be critical about. Campy. It's going to be overall campy. Almost kind of like soap opera campy. Like to the point that like not too much is put into the video production. I mean, it's definitely not, grade A movie quality, but I think the story really, really makes you overlook the campiness or keeps it so light that you can just plow through the series. It's super easy and super fun. Small, minuscule complaint was at the end, did anybody find that brother a little over the top? I mean, my man, he felt like the All Valley was his. The things I like about Cobra Kai as a whole, and specifically this season, was, like it's nostalgia. It's really able to pull some great plot lines and story ideas from the original trilogy and bring them in and give them a contemporary fresh while mirroring back and forth with the ideas and story plot topics of old, right? And I also like the writing. I think the writing is this series' strongest point. They really know how to set conflict. I mean, it's a story about karate and learning karate. So you're going to have fights. You're going to have immediate conflict built in. I really like how they focus on father and son relationships. I mean, you have, Kreese and Johnny and Daniel's son and Miyagi, and then you have Johnny and his biological son Robbie, but you also have Johnny and Miguel, and then you also have LaRusso and Robbie, and you also have LaRusso and Miguel. And those relationships are always evolving. One relationship will be strong and then it'll get broken, but it'll only tighten up the relationship of a father and son in another direction. And I just think it makes for great interweaving of just tension between these father and son moments. And I also think just overall, through the campiness of it, the kind of, not taking itself too seriously, it really wins. Things I'm looking forward to in season 5 of Cobra Kai, I'm going to want to see Terry and how he runs the gambit. I want to see Danielson figure out a way to continue to teach Miyagi-Do to some of those students. I want to see Johnny and Miguel's relationship supermend. As much as Robby is Johnny's biological son, I'm more interested in seeing the Miguel relationship mended. In my mind, that is probably going to be one of the more interesting plot lines for season 5. I also think I'm going to enjoy Kenny and Anthony LaRusso, or Lapuso. Will Anthony start finally getting taught karate by his dad? And then I want to kind of almost, I know it sounds crazy, but I almost want to see Tory and Samantha mend relationships and team up while they introduce maybe some new girl villains as well. All in all, I loved this season. I mean, when you introduce the new characters like Kenny and Daniel's son, Anthony, or all the twists and turns the season had, and you add the fact that they stay true to the original trilogy's core principles and plot lines, I am a fan of this series. So I have to fight back my fandom score and try and give it an honest opinion. And as a whole, taking away points for being campy, shorter episodes, and like the score really hurts me. Like that really adds to the campiness. I don't want to say they're all full points, but maybe I'm gonna go 8. I can hear an argument for 7.5. I can hear an argument for 8.5. Anything over that, you're tripping. You got to take away points for its soap opera vibe. And then also, I mean, we are talking the action is based around karate. Anybody who knows contemporary fighting or MMA knows karate is not a legit discipline that works in the real world, but they tend to film it that way and it just keeps everything light and moving on. So that'll do it for me for my breakdown of season 4 Cobra Kai. I would love to hear how you felt about the season in the comments. I try to reply to all the comments because I love discussing cinema in general. So please do so because it helps us in the algorithms. I also want to thank you for your continued support. The subscribers, the views, the comments, I really appreciate it. It helps me move up in the algorithms, and maybe with your continued support, I could take this channel to heights I didn't dream of. So thank you again. Once again, this is Old Head Reviews. I'm your host, Joey Sparks. See you next time.